I'm walking out my door, hopping on my bike, and heading to my friendly neighborhood lake. Nydala is its name. This is in northern Sweden, where I live when I'm not in Montana.
So it's the last day of May 2024, and I feel strongly that today is the day that I'll manage to record one of the voices I love the most in the so-called natural world, otherwise known as the world. The loon.
I've heard loons here at the lake several times this spring, but so far I've only been able to record them on my phone. Today I have my actual sound gear with me, and I'm hoping to get a nice recording of them calling. But it's really up to them.
I don't see any loons yet.
I find a little spot to sit down under some trees and settle in. Two swans glide silently out across the water. The trees are reflected in it perfectly, like a mirror. It's lovely and very quiet.
Okay, well, this may or may not be the moment that I get to record loons. But that's okay. It's an absolutely gorgeous morning, and I'm really glad I'm out here.
I'm here for the loons, but I also came here just to talk to you a little bit about where this season is coming from in me, why I wanted to make a whole set of episodes with the act of listening at the core. I think there are at least 3 reasons. The first is the fact that bioacoustics is booming right now. With the help of artificial intelligence and other technologies, scientists are learning how to listen to ice and soil and all sorts of creatures that we didn't even know had voices. Exploring these discoveries and sharing that exploration with you is definitely one of my driving forces for this season. But the second thing motivating me here has nothing to do with technology. It's something simple, something available to all of us, no matter where we live, no matter how our sensory systems happen to be arranged. It's what I'm doing right now at the lake, just pausing for a moment to listen. I do this a lot. I don't have a formal practice. I'm by no means trying to set myself up as some kind of guide into something unique. It's actually the opposite of that makes it so wonderful. We all can just do it. We all can just step outside and just open up and listen. Just tune in. And I don't think there's ever been a time that I've done that I wished I hadn't. Like, it's always good for me. It's always good for me. And there aren't very many things that I can say that about, you know? The joy and the soothing feeling and the just sense of connecting with something beyond my own species. I love it. It just feels so good. And it doesn't have to exclude my fellow humans. Like right now I can hear the sounds of kids playing outside mixed in with the really lovely quiet of this lake and the little tiny splooshes of fish coming up here. And that's part of the sound of this place, and it's beautiful, and I'm not wishing those sounds away. Just kind of letting it all flow in. And I think part of letting it come in is that it pulls me out. It pulls me out of my own self-focused narratives and worries and whatever. Or maybe it's not even that it pulls me out of them, it's just that it lets whatever's going on inside kind of find a place in a greater landscape. My little stories get smaller, not like as an act of diminishment, but just because they get placed on a bigger canvas. And that's like such a relief. And just feels so healthy. So that's part of what this season is about, is just doing this. Okay, but the other thing I wanted to name here is something I'm actually feel like I need to read you here just out of my notebook. One of the other forces at work in me here is harder to talk about because it's heavy and huge. It's the biodiversity crisis, but I kind of hate that term. It's so technical sounding and removed. Mass extinction gets us closer, but really no label or term is adequate to the task. Honestly, I don't know if I'm adequately equipped for the task. The mass extinction we're living through, that our species is causing, is one of the biggest stories of our time. And I feel really challenged by how to approach it as a storyteller and just as a person. To take it all in, this impact we're having, it feels like it could break my heart. And I mean that almost literally, like it threatens to break something in me. And I'm sure many of you feel the same. I guess I just want you to know that all of that is in my mind and on my heart, that it weighs on me. And sometimes I think we should be doing a whole season about it here on Threshold. Other times I think this isn't really the right format for that maybe this issue can only really be known and felt and understood through, I don't know, an opera, theater, dance, I don't know. But I do know this. Listening helps. It's one of the things that saves me from despair or pulls me out of it, through it to the other side. These voices all around me, the life we have left, the many, many lives being lived, beautifully, ferociously, sometimes quietly, but often not quietly at all. Often full of songs and calls, and chirps and cries and howls and rumbles and squeaks. Each voice is a being and each place is an ensemble. All of these sounds stacked one on top of the other, like lines in a symphony score. Tuning into that, feeling appreciation for it. It's not just like a coping mechanism or some kind of like band-aid to put over this gaping wound of mass extinction. It feels like part of taking steps, finding the path to a different reality. Extinction is about silencing. This season is about listening. It's not an analysis of the problem, but hopefully some sort of antidote to it. A pathway, I hope, that helps lead us toward what we need most, to come into relationship with other beings.
There you are. Thank you.